It is time to take Ryukyu across the world. Yes, it is I, Dr. Isix, and I have climbed the 3 mountains. So let's do a little timeline, shall we? The important thing to know before I get started is that I did go ahead and go the Japan route, where I became the Shogun. So expect a lot more vassals than your general run-of-the-mill sort of go here. And I did not one tag, so don't even get upset with me by that. Anywho, let's get going. I'm gonna go on medium speed here and just sort of let it play out. And there you have it. The final stage, I suppose, of this particular timeline. And yes, I have just done this after finishing the last war with Russia. They now have 0 development, and I am the only remaining great power with 12,000 development held myself, around 18k held by my vassals and various subjects. I have basically everything under my control, and things are getting cored up here. Yes. That last war versus Russia was actually very silly, because at some point somebody decided to go, hey, Georgia, you have a random province here. We're going to kick you until you abandon that back to Russia for some reason. I don't know what happened there, and suddenly there's another province of Russia there, as I'm trying to piece out what there was of Russia at the time that I didn't remember to click on because I didn't have it occupied and I was piecing out Prussia at the same time. Anyway, so yeah, everything is either my own held territory or subject. I'm integrating a bunch of things, but there just isn't enough time before game end to integrate everybody, because as is my recently integrated provinces as vassals, things like that, is super high with people as is, and that will not go away before the game is over. So I will be unable to integrate anyone other than the 4 that I'm presently doing, and yeah. I could, of course, become Japan, which would kick off all my daimyos with various things. Yeah, that could be a problem. Because every daimyo is subject to Japan, abolish daimyo government reform, country changes Japan against new missions. Every subject daimyo Japan will become independent. And I guess I could finish up warring them down so I can get a 1 tag, but that wouldn't be as Ryukyu, that'd be as Japan. So I'm not going to do that. Plus, I need to finish integrating these guys first. But yeah, I think I wanted to do it this way just to see how play as super blobby Japan as anything kind of worked. And I will have to say that it was kind of annoying because early on I was having trouble getting my vassals in Japan to actually go over and like land places. So that was annoying. And there was eventually Usegi and what was the one down south here? I forget. Uichi, there we go. The Uichi down south and the Usegi up north, they sort of dominated the upper and lower third of the island. And at that point, they did start letting people, but that was off after I was already like poking India and things like that. And so I was like, oh, I guess you're eventually helping out. But that was kind of annoying early on, as well as actually getting on to Japan. That was the only part I had to restart. It's just like, okay, I can't seem to get anyone to let me intervene in their war. Well, that's annoying. I guess I have to restart because the person I was trying to get to do stuff is now gone, or they're fighting people that I can't get to let me assist or whatever. So that was annoying. And I even when the run I did end up going with, I actually wasn't able to get as much from the Hozukawa, I think it is, folks that I would have liked from their territory, because it's like, well, it's either I peace out now or I don't get anything. So yeah. What else? The most interesting times was probably when I was going after gobbling up Southeast Asia. Lazang ended up hanging out for a good long while. They were my ally for a little while until they decided not to be. But that was around the time I started punching Ming, so it's like, well, I'm strong enough to do this now, so it's all good. But now you have like a negative 200 aggressive expansion with me, so meh. But remember, folks, people can't join coalitions with against you if you're already at war with them, so that's not as useful for this kind of run, because you need to be at peace in order to split out vassals. Otherwise, like, well, I'm now at 200% overextension constantly. Whoops. Oh, well. Idea-wise, I decided to kick off with Quest for the New World, our exploration here, so I can get over to North America. I vassalized Kampfstalls in order to get the coring distance for that. Didn't actually settle anything in North America. like at all until fairly late when I grabbed a couple of plots here. I actually managed to grab Panama somehow. Yes. Newfoundland, Pacific Nor, Super Brazil. Actually kept that one the same. But yeah, other cool stuff do I want to talk about here before I end the video. Breaking the HRE was interesting. I managed to get via attacking, I think it was Nassau, a non-coalition member in order to fire off the coalition that allowed me to punch a bunch of guys and then split them out as vassals and things like that later. Nassau was allied to the Emperor, who was part of the coalition against me, and that was, well, pretty much all the electors. So, like, okay. I think the only one that wasn't an elector that was, the only elector that wasn't in the coalition was also allied to Nassau. So I think that was Brandenburg. They're my vassal for a good long while. That's pretty cool. But to do anything else? Oh, final thing. I did a lot of diplo-vassalizing because at a certain point I'm just so powerful that I'm like, hey, Kazambe, do you want to be my vassal? And they're like, sure, let's do that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to great power at you and give you money and a whole bunch of other stuff. Don't crash my please, there we go. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I just get a vassal here in Central Africa. Then like Spain had taken off like all the Congo here, and so I had to go fight them for that. The most annoying two empires to deal with was Russia, of course. You saw it took me a while to get even to take a swing at them. I wasn't able to get pushing on them as early as I would have liked because I was mainly worried about how far the Ottomans were blobbing at that point. But after punching the Ottomans, the Russians kind of bounced back, took over this section. I'm like, okay, I guess I got to get prepped for that. Yes. The second big annoying war was actually one of the last ones, finishing off Portugal, because Portugal decided to eat half of Castile after I'd punched them a bunch. You might have noticed there. And so I'm like, oh gosh. And so I had to basically face down the Super Brazil here and their 100-some thousand troops, and all the other Portuguese South America, which was basically everything other than the bit here, which was actually Frisian Colombia, but I renamed it Fresh Colombia. So you got Great Colombia, you got Fresh Colombia, and you got Panama. Panama. I also got the 30 colonies. Yes. And Ryukyu. It's like Ryukyu, except that. Also, it's the East Ryukyu as opposed to the West Indies, because when the center of the world is here, this is more east than it is west, guys. Yeah. Anywho, I think I'm going to end things up there. Oh, I was going to finish talking about ideas. Made for exploration, didn't finish it up because I didn't need to. So I just wanted to get, so I got some colonies so I could develop space, so I wanted to take it from guys in peace deals. I took religious ideas for good old Deus Vult for the whole CB thing, which is how I managed to actually have Diplo points in the mid-game. I then went for quantity ideas so I could have my own armies, so I could lead the fight against Ming. Then influence, so I could start integrating a few things, as well as vassal force limit contribution, as well as income from vassals, plus 25%. It was like, okay, I'm barely being able to make my loan payments to, hey, all my loans are gone, and I never have to worry about money again. So that 25% did for me. Finally, administrative ideas. Only when it for core creation cost, really, but getting the extra states and admin test cost reduction in the long run is pretty good. Diplomatic ideas in order to do more diplomacy, as well as start integrating things more efficiently when the time came. If I needed that, I only really did one thing that actually caused me to lose stability as far as diplomatic actions go. I got tired of rebellions, so humanist ideas, and then quality just because I had extra mill points. Hooray! Didn't even finish this one because after the early game when I was like, I want to save this until I'm ready to fire it off, and then I ended up never being able to reach my force limit again because just look at that, my force limit is 1.7 million. My army's already 1.3 million. Yep. Pretty good income. I'm spending a lot on advisors. I was until this one died recently. Yeah, so behold my vassal swarm. There's like over 100 of them. Greece, Denmark, Sweden, Normandy, Gascony, Catalonia, Aragon, Milan, Naples, Lorraine, Burgundy, Bohemia, Saxony, Baden, Gilan, Ardabil, Armenia, Georgia, Crimea, Riga, Polotsk, Lithuania, Finland, Estonia, Novgorod, Perm, Sibir, so on and so forth. Sadia and Mongquang and Hispa and Tuangu. And their empires growing inside my empire. Maybe I should worry about that. Anywho, thank you very much for joining me. This has been Isix, showing you off my timeline of the 3 mountains, done with the Vassal Swarm for Japan. Not one tag, but yeah, maybe someday if I'm feeling bored for some reason, I'll maybe try an actual 1 tag with Ryukyu. But until next time, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more stuff like this and other crazy crap I do. And I got a Patreon link down below, probably, hopefully, fingers crossed on that. Anyway, until next time, everybody, toodles, woohoo!